Cypress Fairbanks Independent School District presents on-demand professional development video series. In this video series, we will be discussing creating safe spaces. This is part one of the two-part series. We will be discussing what safe spaces are and the benefits of adding one to your classroom. In this training, we will share experiences on what works and suggestions on what to include in your safe space. With a whopping 87% of American schools reporting that students are struggling with social and emotional development in the wake of the pandemic and its aftermath, providing safe spaces for our students to cool down and chill out when they're struggling with complicated emotions is more vital than ever. So how do you create a calm down corner in your classroom? What do you put in this chill out zone? And what exactly is a calm down corner anyway? Stay tuned to find out. Whether you've heard about safe spaces before or are new to the idea, you might be thinking, what are the pros and cons of adding a safe space to your classroom? Immediately, you might be thinking, what are some cons to having one? Is it allowing students to escape mentally? Can they misuse or manipulate the opportunity? Could it be thought of as a play place in your classroom or a distraction to the learning environment? Those ideas might be keeping you from putting a safe space in your classroom. But some pros of having a safe space is it allows students to quote unquote leave an uncomfortable situation without leaving the room entirely. A safe space gives them time to process their feelings, and everyone can use a break now and then. Creating a calm down corner in a classroom is a powerful strategy to help students manage their emotions and regain focus. This designated space provides a safe and comforting environment where students can go self-regulate when they feel overwhelmed, anxious, or upset. By incorporating calm down elements such as soft seating, sensory tools, visual aids, the calm down corner encourages students to then develop healthy coping mechanisms. In installing a safe space in your classroom, be sure to set clear guidelines and introduce the corner to the students can ensure that it is used effectively and respectfully. The Calm Down Corner is available to all students, but not all students will utilize it. This proactive approach fosters a supportive classroom atmosphere, promoting emotional well-being and enhancing overall learning experiences. The focus of a safe space is to provide a place for a student to work through and begin to learn how to self-regulate their emotions. A safe space in a classroom is a designated space where students can go manage their emotions, practice self-regulation, and find a sense of calm when they're feeling overwhelmed or upset. The goal of these spaces is to give students a space where they can remove themselves from the situation and recollect themselves. It also provides opportunities for diffusing a negative emotion or situation before it escalates. Providing this space to your students is a great way to help them develop their own coping skills. If this sounds familiar, but you haven't heard the name, it might be because a safe space is called something different in your school. Safe spaces go by many names, including calm down corners, regulation zones, chill out zones or corners, peace corners, quiet corners, regulation stations, or vacation stations. And finally, a quiet island. Whatever name they're called, they all serve the same purpose. It is a place where students, when they're feeling overwhelmed or upset, it's a place for them to go, and they can practice self-regulation skills and work to calm themselves down. Throughout the video, we may be referring to this safe space as one of those names. Now that we've defined the concept, let's go straight to what you've been waiting for: safe space ideas to create your own classroom calm down corner. Keep in mind that whatever you include, or whatever you want to call it, this quiet place should be set away from student desks and the whole class meeting area. This can be difficult in a small classroom, but to be effective, students need to be able to achieve some separation from their classroom. It doesn't matter what you call the area. What is important that you've taught the expectations for the area. For example, how do you access the area? How long can students stay in the area? What activities do they do when they're there? And how do they rejoin the class? Now, just like anything that you do in your classroom, any routine or system that you create, it's very important that you have designated expectations, guidelines, or rules, and that this is explicitly taught to all the students who are going to use the area and do practice. This is very similar to how you would teach your content. In this calm down corner, this safe space, this chill out corner, it's a designated area for calming down. It needs to be a quiet place, if possible, away from student desks. Set those rules and expectations for the chill out corner. Provide visuals so students know those expectations. Review the expectations with your students and practice them. This is a place where students can go for a mental break after completing something challenging or exhausting. Include soft seating, sensory tools, and visual aids. We'll talk more about that later in the video. Think about this when you're creating this safe space or this chill out corner or this quiet island for your classroom. It is a place for students to regroup. It's a place for a student who is angry or upset to go to distract their minds and release that energy that's making them angry. It's not just a place to sit and be still. There are activities that we're going to review for them to do to help them get distracted, regroup, recollect themselves, and get back to the learning. In this example, we're calling the safe space a peace corner. The purpose of a peace corner is to create an inviting place for a child to find peace. It is a safe haven where children can solve their conflicts through retreat and reflection. You may want to pause the video to take a look at the example here and look at the visuals. Notice that there's soft seating and many visuals for students to reflect on as they're cooling down. Safe spaces are a place to teach self-regulation and self-control. They're used to create a positive experience for everyone in the class, including the student who needs time to regroup themselves. It is recommended to have an open dialogue about what it means to have a safe space in your class, when to use it, and how to recognize when the students need it. It is not to be used as a punishment or an avoidance tactic, but an opportunity to get back on track. It's providing students time and space to self-regulate and refocus. It provides students with a quiet and secluded space where they can go in times of frustration, irritation, or sadness. And it provides students a place where they can go without questions or consequences. We use safe spaces to decrease physical holds and restraints and hopefully deter crisis behaviors. Will those crisis behaviors happen? Yes. But using a safe space as a proactive approach can increase the likelihood that these outbursts of conflict will be reduced and decrease the likelihood that they'll last a very long time. This is a proactive approach. Once the student is already upset, that's not the time to start teaching them about the safe space. We have to teach how to use the safe space well before a student would ever consider needing it. So in this next section, we're going to talk about the physical space and what goes into that physical space. We'll talk about specific content in part 2 of this video series. The average floor in a classroom isn't exactly conducive to sitting down and chilling out. Provide students with a space to sit, even if it's just for 5 minutes, so that they can collect themselves. You don't have to spend a lot of money on seating. Here are some ideas from our teacher team that can make great classroom seating for a calm down corner, or even your classroom library. We use fluffy mats, blown up inner tubes, balance cushions, and bean bags are all good places to start. That quiet island or safe space can be set up anywhere in the room. Here we've tucked it into a corner by a back cabinet. Also, it can be set up underneath a desk. Here, this student likes being under the desk like a little cozy cave. In this part one of our Safe Spaces video series, we've talked about how to create that safe space or calming corner. Remember to select an out of the way area in the classroom to create your calming corner. Furnish the space with a soft rug, beanbag chairs, floor cushions, or pillows. Consider including a relaxing CD and player, headphones, books, or magazines. Set up partitions to provide enough privacy for the student while still allowing visibility by you, the teacher. Post a set of visual calming strategies in the area to provide self-managing reminders for the student. More on this topic in part 2 of our series. Talk with the student privately and explain how and when to use the area. I would explain how to use the area to the entire class. A calm down area is available to anyone in the class to use it. However, you know that there's going to be certain students that you are targeting intervention with that you would discuss privately how to use the area. Those students are going to use the area most likely than other students. Let him or her know when he is allowed to go to this area at the first sign of becoming upset. Be sure to tell the student that you'll be back there to meet him, and together you'll quietly agree on the time limit to use the area. And you'll set a timer to the agreed upon time. When the time is up, privately reinforce the student to return to their work area. This reinforcement will help the student repeat this desired behavior in the future. If you feel that a student is beginning to use this area frequently and suspect that he might be avoiding work, you may decide to start providing a limited number of break tickets so that he can specifically use in the morning or in the afternoon to curtail this behavior. Utilize the common corner with all the students in your classroom. All students can benefit from it. Creating that calm down corner in a classroom is a powerful strategy to help students manage their own emotions and regain focus. This designated space provides a safe and comforting environment where students can go to self-regulate when they feel overwhelmed, anxious, or upset. Elements such as soft seating, sensory tools, and visual aids encourage students to develop healthy coping mechanisms. Establishing clear guidelines and introducing the corner to the students can ensure it is used effectively and respectfully. This proactive approach fosters a supportive classroom atmosphere, promoting emotional well-being and enhancing overall learning experiences. We encourage you to implement the strategies from this video to enhance your classroom management. Thank you for taking the time to view our professional development on demand. Look for Creating Safe Spaces Part 2 for more discussion on the contents of your safe space in your classroom. Thank you and see you next time.